On Haaland's 100 Premier League goals, Johnny, quicker than any other player. So he's got it in 111 games. Vieira got it in 124, Harry Kane 141, Aguero 147, and Thierry Henry 160. We are witnessing history here, Johnny.
Yeah, the stat that I saw was that if you look on the list of the 100 club as it was in the Premier League, his closest challengers are the guys he comes up next are Cristiano Ronaldo and Didier Drogba, who I think a lot of people would have in the conversation for greatest Premier League forwards of all time. They've played more than twice as many games as Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is literally twice as good as them. I mean, in terms of his goal rate, you have to go back to guys like Dixie Dean and Brian, like Jimmy Greaves doesn't get close. That's how good he is. Now, a lot of factors you can talk about. You can talk about City's financial dominance. You can talk about state ownership. You can talk about economic stratification. You can talk about the greater protection that strikers get from referees in the modern age. But I think you can only talk about that stuff to a certain point. At some stage, you just have to say this guy is a real, genuine, one-of-a-kind player with an absolutely unique set of skills and a set of circumstances that are perfect for him. And by the way, a very impressive fitness record as well. So, yeah, he's good, isn't he, Barry?
Yeah, I mean, for the tape, the whole of the Liew family came in during that answer, and a bit like one of those News 24, someone's doing a serious bit about the bonds market in Japan, and then just like children running in the back. So we are live on we are now on video, Johnny. I don't know if you care. I don't know.
She's
what
just draped me with a Chinese banner.
Okay. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, I mean that is true what Johnny says, isn't it, Will? I mean, it's sort of and it's interesting that Haaland still has not answered everybody in how good he is. And I don't know if that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just pleased I locked my daughter in a padlock room earlier, so I should be safe for this answer. Yeah, I mean, you still get a lot of the nonsense around, oh, he only takes 9 touches a game and, he's not as involved as he should be. I mean, as anyone in football will tell you, the hardest thing to do is to score goals. And as it transpires, he scores a hell of a lot at an incredible rate. And that's all you can do. I mean, it doesn't matter what else you're doing in the game. It's not his fault that the rest of them can't defend or anything like that. And it should be pointed out, he did get a really good assist last night with what he can do, hold off the defender, spin, turn, lovely ball through. He's not like a complete one-trick pony. It's just his job is to score goals, and he does. You can't really criticise the rest of it when your scoring rate is so incredible. And the thing is about him, I mean, the only disappointment probably is that last night he should have had more. Through on goal, hit the inside of the post header, hit the post. But yeah, incredible player. You speak to anyone about him, incredible work rate, commitment to football, etc. He's not just living off natural talent. He puts the effort in. He knows what he's doing. He gets better every season, which is quite impressive considering, what's gone before. And he just has it. And he has that, puts that fear into defenders. And the defenders are actually quite worried that he's not involved in the game because you don't know where he's going to pop up next. You think you sort of got him under control, and then the next minute he's gone, he's through, he's out, jumped you, whatever, because they've sort of think, it's all right, we've got Erling here. But his concentration levels are, something, I've not seen in a striker. When you're not getting service even, that you can just sort of drift out of the game. And people think he drifts out, but he's always involved. He's always trying to do something. And eventually it comes off, pretty much every game as the stats show.
Without wanting to detract in any way from Erling's achievement, I feel I should stick up for players who plied their trade in the top flight before the Premier League began. Sunderland's Dave Halliday got his 100 goals in 100 games. Some debate it might have been 101, but it was certainly fewer than 111. Dixie Dean got his century of goals in 105 games, and Arsenal's Ted Drake did it in 108. So Haaland, for me, Clive, is fourth on the all-time list, not top. but
Noted.
there you go.
Michael says, how pleased was Barry with his Declan Rice zinger at the FSA Awards? Yes, we are the champions. Thank you to everyone for voting. Don't ever let us down again. You were there, Barry. You brought the house down with your victory speech.
Declan Rice was on this stage earlier. As a Republic of Ireland fan, I notice he has left already. Because that is what Declan Rice does. Declan Rice, probably down in Mayfair, at a fancier, slightly more glamorous award ceremony as we speak. Well, it's not really for me to say that I did that. It seemed to go down well. It wasn't so much a speech as the hostess, Victoria Derbyshire, asking me questions and then me proceeding to answer completely different ones. But I got a dig in at Declan Rice, who won Player of the Year and turned up to collect his award in person, which is always nice when a player makes the effort to do that. It's not always possible for them to do so. Alessia Russo won Female Player of the Year, but she was busy on England duty, so she couldn't be there. Really good night put on by the FSA again, as always.
Can I also just say,
Barney.
when people say Selhurst Park is a difficult place to go, it is a difficult place to go.
It is.
Because of that. There's an old advice: don't go to Crystal Palace, go to Selhurst. Crystal Palace is not where it is. I think that advice is out of date, and you should go to Crystal Palace because it's now on the Windrush line, and you simply walk 15 minutes from there. So do go to Crystal Palace. Don't try and go to Selhurst. There's a lot more trains on the Windrush. I think that's the kind of advice that a football iconoclast, like a new thinker, like maybe a Thomas Frank, would just sweep that advice away. Do go to Crystal Palace. It becomes a much easier place to go to.
It's interesting, people haven't really viewed those overground lines well enough. I understand this because young Ian is obsessed with the tube. They've remodeled them, the Windrush and the Weaver line and the Mile Bay, to make them feel like tube stops and tube stations, and now everyone on goes to them, because before they were like, I couldn't possibly get a train, got to get the tube. It's very interesting stuff.
I'm glad the voting for the FSA Awards has already closed.
Dominic says, I think Barney was confused about the location of Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace Station is about 45 minutes walk. Selhurst, Thornton Heath and Norwood Junction all within about 10 minutes. Jacob, you're nodding.
Yeah. Did Barney go to Crystal Palace Station?
Well, not only did he go there, but he was recommending everybody go there as the way to get to Selhurst Park. And, we just listened because, Barney sounds so clever. You just have to agree with what he was telling you. So he's changed the commuting habits of all of South London.
When I go there, I go to East Croydon and just walk from East Croydon, which is probably about a 40-minute walk. But it's actually quite a pleasant walk, and it means the train's not as busy, and you get your steps in, and you can listen to a podcast if you want.
Do you listen to football podcasts, Wilson?
Yeah, because I want to. I mean, sometimes I listen to myself because I regard myself as being the most sensible voice on the game. But it's also useful to learn from your others, see how you can improve. But no, of course, I listen to other people. I want people to tell me what to think. I don't have ideas myself anymore. I'm 49.
So I got the impression that you were listening to sort of slightly sordid, saucy podcasts, Wilson, and I didn't have it. I didn't have you down for that. Anyway, thanks to everyone that listens to this one. We've been sent lots of Spotify Wrapped roundups. Current high scorer Jamie Darcy, who's listened to us for 10,500 minutes this year, which seems a lot, but if you can beat it, do let us know.
I'd never done one of these. I never had a Spotify Plus membership till this year, and it tells you your music age. Do you want to have a guess what my music age is? And Barry can have a clue. Is that the only thing I've listened to is the playlist that was at my wedding. So if you can remember that, Barry, you've got a chance of guessing this.
I can't remember the playlist at your wedding. I can't remember who was DJing, but I know it was a friend of yours.
Yeah, the Peter Frankopan, the historian.
Why wouldn't you get Simon Sharma? Who's your favourite historian DJ? Anyway, what is your musical age according to Spotify, Wilson? 57.
76.
Just listen to Vera Lynn on loop. Play it again, Vera. Anyway, that'll do for today. We'll be back on Monday.
Sorry, just one
Yes.
more quick thing, Max.
Yes.
I forgot to mention yesterday when I was talking about the Football Supporters Association Awards that Guardian Women's Football Weekly also won in
Well done
the
to them.
Best Women's Football Podcast. And I got to meet Lucy Ward in real life.
Have you
for
never
the
met
first time
before?
ever. I
Oh,
never
right,
met
okay.
Lucy Ward in real life before.
Really?
And that led to a personal life highlight, which was I got to meet Neil Redfern in real life.
Huge. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
a lovely
never,
man.
Never meet your heroes, but good for you on meeting Neil.
Lovely
Redfern.
man, very strong handshake, as you would expect.
Of course. Yeah, a good Barnsley handshake.
I think the main talking point from this game was when Leeds were on top in the second half, and they were on top, very much so. Ruben Diaz instructed Gianluigi Donnarumma to start feeling his hamstring and go down injured. This allowed Pep to have a tactical timeout with his players, and that's when they turned the game around back in their favour. So it's not against the rules. It is probably very much against the spirit of fair play, but this is the Premier League, and fair play isn't something that too many people are concerned about. So Pep had a laugh about it yesterday or after the game. Daniel Farke wasn't particularly happy, but these things happen, I guess. I'm not sure what you can do to stop it happening.
Well, DRT says if things start going wrong in the pod and Barry needs a timeout, maybe Barney can do a Donnarumma and fake an injury, he says. And Daniel Farke was very upset about it. It's not the elephant in the room. Everyone knows why he went down. Why he went down, it was obvious. It is within the rules. It's smart. If I like it, if it's within a sense of fair play, if it should be like this, I will keep it to myself. It's up to the authorities to find a solution. And the solution has been mentioned, Barney, is you have to take a player off. Like you have to pick, your sort of Callum Chambers, I guess, to say you have to go off because the keeper's injured.
Yeah, I mean, either that or you could insist that if the goalkeeper is found not to be injured, you must forcefully injure him. He must be injured, maybe using a sort of cattle prod. Now, I've seen this happen 3 times in games this season. I've seen a manager call his goalkeeper across while his team has an attacking corner, and the goalkeeper's sort of going, what you want? What? Okay. And then on 40 minutes, the goalkeeper just goes down holding his hamstring and the coaching staff are out calling everyone over. It's a pre-planned thing. It happens all the time. It's really annoying. It shouldn't happen. It's someone pretending the goalkeeper should be booked. I mean, but how do you establish someone isn't injured? That's impossible, isn't it? You can't prove a negative. But
so Donnarumma has to be taken to hospital, given an MRI.
A full medical.
You have
blood
to strain
pressure.
his hamstring, like overextend his leg. I can see a 4th, 5th, and 6th official bending his leg back on the pitch until he screams. And then it's okay, fine. You wave on the manager, the players, and if you're legitimately. But I think what we were saying is you then have to take an outfield player off in the way because goalkeepers don't come off because it would be weird to restart the game with nobody in the goal. So that's why they always have the goalkeeper feigning injury.
I mean, sometimes Spurs just don't have the keeper in the goal anyway, just during the match. But we'll get to that. No, I do like the idea of Donnarumma having to have a full medical assessment, because men don't talk about these things enough. Have a PSA test, a stool sample, all those things, do his blood pressure, and then 3 days later he gets texted the results, and then the game can carry on. Ed finally says, how many additions does Barney think Millwall will need in time for their opening day in the Premier League next season? 3rd in the Championship, an injury time winner over Southampton, Barney.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing because they're winning. Normally, it's a struggle. It's ugly. It's involves punting the ball forward towards Jake Cooper, but they're actually good, which is confusing, and know how to control games and have good players. Aziz is on a brilliant run at the moment. I mean, they're really good, and the Den is a powerful force. I think it would be really fun to see them in the Premier League. I imagine it would lead to. I don't know what would happen with the club. I've always felt it's on the verge of being sold to the the most evil oligarch that can be found. Somewhere they'll find him. They're scouring the planet for who have we got here? Is there anyone who's involved in arms and oil? Because you can now redevelop that site, and it's kind of a bit of London that someone could throw loads of money into and do stuff to, which I don't want them to do. There's a part of me that fears promotion from that respect. I quite like how things are, but yeah, they're really the goals were great as well. Really good goals.
When Villa were in the Championship, the Den was my favourite away ground due to the fact that it was the Dragon's Lair on Dream Team. Harchester United used to love going there for that reason alone.
We should talk about Billy Bonds. You mentioned it, Barry. He's passed away at the age of 79. His family released a statement through the club. Dad loved West Ham United and its wonderful supporters with all his heart. Treasured every moment of his time at the club. We take comfort knowing that his legacy will live on forever. Jonathan Wilson wrote a piece about him. Said, for those of us whose football consciousness was formed in the early 80s, he seemed not only an eternal feature of West Ham, but the archetype of a certain sort of English player, as comfortable in midfield as at the back, uncompromising, but also good on the ball, forever rolling his sleeves up and pointing. And he said, where Trevor Brooking could have strolled through the Somme without dirtying his shorts, Bonds seemed forever caked in mud, socks rolled down, teeth and eyes glinting through a fug of sweat and beard. Barney, you saw him play.
I'm just really glad to hear Wilson referring to the Somme finally. We must always refer to the First World War. Yeah, I saw him play in the sort of mid to late 80s, towards the end of his career. And I remember him. He was a really striking figure. He was like he was one of these sort of hard men warrior kind of midfielders, but he was also really skillful. He moved really well. He had this kind of really imposing sort of physicality, as you'd expect, almost 800 games for one team, still playing at 41 in the top tier. So he's better than Ronaldo. I read this thing about Ronaldo the other day that someone went for dinner with him, and he for dessert, he had another serving of plain chicken. He has plain chicken breast for dessert. Now, Billy Bonds probably didn't have that, but he is a club legend of a kind that doesn't really happen anymore. Someone who just, like Wilson said, seems completely connected to the club. These sort of fixed points. He used to have players like this who were just really good, didn't leave, didn't necessarily have to play for England. West Ham had quite a lot of them. I mean, Alan Devonshire used to get the tube to the games, and you sort of still felt like a fixed point in the community. He's also a type of man that I remember there being a lot of. He's kind of from the place where he's from, I think Woolwich, and he was in Eltham for a while, southeast Londoner. There used to be a lot of blokes like that around, like his hair nominally kind of long, pub rock sort of look, but also neat and sort of quite not exactly roguish, but also quite conservative and old school, clean cut. There used to be a lot of blokes like that around, sort of mischievous, but also total club servant, eternal kind of geezer bloke. And he's a very reassuring figure. You just liked him, you respected him. The fact that he played for so long, obviously, really, there's some pictures of him doing weights going around on the internet. He had an incredible physique and was obviously, in that sense, a kind of perfect professional. And you could see the link with him. It's nice to see Potts playing for West Ham, son of whose father would have played with Billy Bonds. And fans really feel a connection to that. I wondered if this might be a good moment for West Ham to start a kind of scheme in his memory where fans could possibly invest in the club, even acquire a kind of fan share by effectively loaning money to the club, buying into the club in his name, a kind of financial instrument. And I had an idea of what you could call these financial instruments that fans buy. You could call them Billy Gilts. Billy Gilts? Yeah. Sorry, it's too soon, isn't it? Too soon.